A mother's 15-year-old daughter was cornered at a farmer's market, crying, terrified, surrounded by 6 older women screaming at her about being unChristian. But what this manipulative grandmother didn't know was that the mother had receipts, and she was about to turn an entire church against them in the most brutal way possible. This is the story of how one woman used the truth to destroy her toxic in-law's reputation forever. Let's call our protagonist Sarah, a 46-year-old mother of 2 teenage daughters, aged 17 and 15. Sarah's life had been turned upside down the year before. Her ex-husband died in a tragic accident. But here's where things get complicated and dark. Before his death, Sarah had discovered something devastating. Her husband had been having an affair, and that affair had produced 2 baby boys. Her teenage daughters were the ones who discovered the truth. Imagine being a teenager and finding out your father has been living a double life. The trauma was immense, and both girls were working with a therapist to process the betrayal. But then, the affair partner also died. Now these 2 baby boys were orphaned, and her ex-in-laws, they had a plan. Her ex-husband's parents, a 78-year-old man and an 80-year-old woman, decided they wanted custody of Sarah's daughters. They also tried to force their way into Sarah's home, wanting to live with her family. Sarah refused both. The custody battle was headed to court. The living arrangement? Absolutely never happening. The girls wanted nothing to do with their paternal grandparents. They wanted nothing to do with the baby boys who represented their father's betrayal. And honestly, who could blame them? One weekend, Sarah decided to do something special for her youngest daughter's birthday. Their town had a weekend farmer's market with fresh produce, meats, and local goods. Sarah gave her 15-year-old a budget and told her to go wild, mostly on chocolate and sweets. An hour passed. Then Sarah started to worry. Just as she was about to call, her phone rang. It was her daughter, crying. "Mom," she sobbed, "some weird people have cornered me." Sarah's heart dropped. She grabbed her oldest daughter and they ran through the market, frantically searching. And then they found her. The youngest daughter was surrounded by 6 older women. They were berating this 15-year-old girl, screaming at her for being unChristian, for refusing to spend time with her grandparents, calling her a bad big sister for not loving her poor orphaned baby brothers. This was a child, on her birthday, being attacked by grown women. Sarah pushed through the group, putting herself between the vultures and her traumatized daughter. She told her oldest to pay for her sister's things and get to the car immediately. Then Sarah turned to face these women. Some of them she recognized from her ex-in-law's church, and she absolutely tore into them. But these women, they had the audacity to tell Sarah she was in the wrong, that she needed to obey her ex-in-laws like a good Christian wife. The argument escalated. Voices got louder. Eventually, security asked everyone to leave the market. Sarah gathered her daughters and headed to the car, but the women followed them like a pack of circling vultures, still shouting, still condemning. Sarah got her girls in the car and drove away as fast as she could. That night, after putting her daughters to bed, Sarah needed answers. She contacted a member of the church she was still on good terms with and asked what the hell just happened. And oh, did he have information for her. Sarah's ex-mother-in-law had posted a massive sob story in the church's Facebook group. In this post, she painted Sarah and her daughters as monsters. She claimed they were leaving 2 elderly people homeless and penniless, despite the fact that the grandparents had inherited the ex-husband's personal bank account and his life insurance. She claimed the daughters refused to even speak to them. She blamed Sarah for losing custody of the baby boys who had been placed with distant relatives. It was a sob story worthy of a Hallmark movie. And the more extremist members of the church were eating it up, showering the grandparents with sympathy and support. But here's where it gets interesting. This church was known for being annoying about certain topics, particularly LGBTQ issues. But they had one saving grace. They were incredibly strict about cheating. Adultery was considered one of the worst sins, whether committed by a husband or wife. So how did the grandmother explain away the existence of affair babies without exposing the cheating? She lied. She claimed the other woman had been their surrogate because Sarah was supposedly unable to have more children. Then she said Sarah rejected the babies because they were boys. She accused Sarah of being sexist against her own children. It was disgusting, it was manipulative, and it was about to backfire spectacularly. Sarah had a day off coming up, and she had a plan. See, when her ex-husband died, Sarah had been in the middle of divorcing him. The divorce wasn't finalized, which meant legally she could release whatever evidence she wanted without ramification. And oh, did she have evidence. Sarah went to a print shop with everything she'd collected during the divorce proceedings. Pictures of her ex-husband cheating, crystal clear, impossible to deny. Text conversations between him and his affair partner. Messages between the ex-husband and his parents, where they confessed to knowing about the affair and supporting him in it. Text messages of the grandparents harassing Sarah about the divorce and the coup de grace. Emails and text messages of the grandparents bullying Sarah's teenage daughters about the baby brothers. In one message, sent just 2 days after their father's death, the grandparents called Sarah's daughters bastards and told them it was their fault their father died, because they told their mother about the affair, because they caused the divorce. These people blamed grieving teenage girls for their father's accidental death. Sarah paid extra for everything to be printed on beautiful, high-quality paper, professional, undeniable. Then Sarah got creative. She spent hours making personalized binders. She designed them to look exactly like the little prayer and hymn packets the church handed out every Sunday. But when you opened these binders, the first image was a high-resolution photo of Sarah's ex-husband making out with his affair partner in Sarah and her ex's living room, both faces crystal clear. The other woman looked nothing like Sarah. Different skin tone, different hair color, no mistaking this for anything but what it was. Underneath the photo, Sarah wrote, "Ex-husband and affair partner, a love story." The next Sunday, Sarah arrived at the church early, before service started. There was a desk in the back with extra songbooks for people who forgot theirs. The church never checked them. They trusted their congregation. Sarah placed her binders among the songbooks, and then she waited. The gossip mill moved fast. During the service, people began opening what they thought were songbooks. Instead, they found page after page of undeniable evidence. The affair, the betrayal, the parents who supported their cheating son, the harassment of 2 grieving teenage girls. The church's Facebook group exploded. The names people called Sarah's ex-husband and his affair partner were so vile that the pastor himself had to intervene just to keep things relatively PG-13. People were absolutely furious at the grandparents for how they'd treated Sarah's daughters, for the lies, for the manipulation. But here's the ironic part that made Sarah laugh. Some members still thought she was wrong for getting divorced, but they said it was understandable that she failed in her duties after the shock and that she would possibly one day return to the light, unlike her cheating husband and his Jezebel. They used another word Sarah couldn't repeat. You can imagine. Sarah received 2 apology letters in the mail addressed to her daughters. She also got an invitation to join the church for support, as if she'd ever step foot in that place again. But what happened to the grandparents? They were shamed into leaving the church. The community that had been their entire social life, gone. The people who had supported them in their lies turned against them completely. Sarah's ex-mother-in-law made a post on her personal Facebook wall about how alienated she felt, how no one cares for the elderly anymore, how she wished her great son was still alive because he would have taken care of her and her husband. With what money, Sarah wondered? She had been the breadwinner in the marriage. Her ex-husband was broke. Oh, and remember how Sarah mentioned the grandparents inherited the ex-husband's bank account and life insurance? Turns out, he had a will that named his parents as beneficiaries. Not her daughters, not Sarah, his parents. Sarah always believed he'd named their daughters. He told her he had, but he lied about that too, just like he lied about everything. So, let's recap this beautiful story of justice. Two manipulative grandparents tried to destroy a mother's reputation in their church community. They lied, saying affair babies were from a surrogate. They blamed a woman for being sexist against boys. They had 6 women attack a 15-year-old girl at a farmer's market on her birthday. But they made one critical mistake. They underestimated the mother. She had evidence, she had the truth, and she had the perfect plan to deliver it to the one audience that mattered most, their church. In one calculated move, Sarah destroyed their reputation, exposed their lies, and got them excommunicated from their entire social circle. The grandparents lost their church, their community, their credibility. And those 2 teenage girls? They got vindication, they got apologies, and most importantly, they got to see that their mother would burn down the world to protect them. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting even. Sometimes it's about revealing the truth in the most devastating way possible. And Sarah, she did exactly that. What would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story of epic revenge, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories of justice served. Thanks for watching.